friends, and welcome to another WSIB Truth Matters with Joe Machado on this beautiful Monday. I hope that you had a nice weekend. It was certainly a nice one. And now we're back at it on Monday. Can't take a break. You got to keep on these people. The WSIB, you know what I mean. Anyway, I want to talk about a subject that it's come up many times over the years. Not only with clients, but in discussions between myself and other paralegals or worker representatives and lawyers and pretty much everybody across the board really involved in this industry. And that is, can the WSIB, their employees, their executives and members of the board, can they act with impunity? In other words, can they do whatever the hell they want, and regardless whether it's good or bad, without consequences, without accountability? I mean, because you and I, we have to follow the rules. In society, we have to follow the rules of, the Highway Traffic Act if we're driving. We have to follow the rules when we're out in public dealing with people. There are certain things that are acceptable, others aren't. And in a lot of cases, there's recourse to the courts. But for some reason, WSIB people, and I'm talking from the top down, board of directors, executives, case managers, directors, VPs, are they immune to the law? I have forever spent a lot of time asking myself these questions and researching and investigating all of these different things. And I know that insurance company executives, they are held to a standard, and their directors are held to a standard, and they have to get directors insurance in the event that they get sued for malfeasance, for being neglectful. And the WSIB started to move in the direction of becoming an insurance company in 1998 with Bill 99. They changed the name. Now they have insurance in their name. They're acting like an insurance company, but are they subjected to the same scrutiny, the same level of exposure as other executives and directors in other insurance companies like Manulife, Sun Life? I could go on and on. I don't think so. Now, here's the thing. The WSIB exists in its current form because there had to be a trade-off. And you've heard me talk about the Meredith Principles, 5 of them, that were the foundation for the Workers' Compensation Act back in 1914. Now nothing resembles those principles. They've completely tarnished those principles in every single way possible. But there was supposed to be a trade-off. And the big trade-off was that injured workers give up their rights to sue, and employers get this collective liability where they pay into the fund so that they're not sued in the event that there's an accident in their workplace, which could potentially put them out of business. And I'm going to talk about that trade-off because it seems like everybody else is getting favored, but injured workers always getting screwed. So I'm going to read from the Act, the Workplace Safety and Insurance Act, under the section Rights of Action. And it states, no action for benefits. It's the subheading. Section 26, subsection 1 states, no action lies to obtain benefits under the insurance plan, but all claims for benefits shall be heard and determined by the board, WSIB. And then below that is another subheading. This is the one I really want to talk about. Benefits in lieu of rights of action. So that's section 26, subsection 2. Entitlement to benefits under the insurance plan is in lieu of all rights of action, in brackets, statutory or otherwise, that a worker survivor, or a worker's spouse, child, or dependent. They've taken not only you and tied up your spouse, your children, dependents, that has or may have against the worker's employer or an executive officer of the employer for or by reason of an accident happening to a worker or an occupational disease contracted by the worker while in the employment of the worker. So what that means is this. So they fully expect you to give up, okay, any rights whatsoever, to get benefits from them, any rights. And they're also tying in your family, current and future, in lieu of all rights. So for you to get benefits, you're giving up all of this. And you're giving up the rights for your survivors, your spouse, your children, dependents, and whatnot. But, listen to this, the employer or an executive officer of the employer gets the absolute right against being sued. But your rights aren't absolute. They're just saying entitled to benefits. So that depends on whatever the hell they want to pay you and how much they want to pay you. Vis-a-vis all of these appeals, right? Denials after denials and appeals. So they're saying you're going to give you a right to do this, which you could take to the courts and be granted whatever it is you're claiming, because we're going to give you this, but then we're going to decide how much we're going to give you. And we can give you nothing. We can decide to give you nothing. Does that seem right to you? In the meantime, those who were the cause of your accident, because it was in their place of business you got hurt, they have an absolute right not to be sued, regardless of how the WSIB treats you as a claimant for benefits. I call bullshit, right? I mean, let's call it. It's bullshit's bullshit. This is what it is. Now, this is the part that really excites me because I put a lot of thought and research into this. Does this give the WSIB employees blanket immunity over their actions? Well, it doesn't. Because that section of the Act doesn't give them any immunity whatsoever. There's no mention of the WSIB, their staff, their members of the board, whoever. None whatsoever. You know that they act with impunity because they just do shit and don't care about it. And sometimes they don't even tell you. You can't do that. You're driving down the road in a car and you don't have a license and you get pulled over. You're going to have to dig into your pocket. But not these people, at least in their own minds. They're not. So the answer, do are they subject to being sued? Well, I want to point out to you the WSIB's corporate governance policy. It describes how the WSIB and their board of directors, the level of governance and roles that they have, things that talk about their purpose, the composition of the board, remuneration for the boards, how they get paid, responsibilities and accountabilities, duty and standard of care, their conduct. There's all sorts of things that are in this corporate governance policy, and this is what is out there that defines what their function, their purpose is, and also it touches on the area of indemnification. Do they have blanket indemnification for their acts of negligence that affect you, the injured worker? So I'm going to put a couple of sections on the screen here. You're not going to see me for a little bit. I'm just going to read off to you because these are important. So the corporate governance policy, section B1, roles and responsibilities. The board of directors oversees the management of the WSIB's business affairs, sets overall policies, and provides leadership to WSIB management team and major policy and program initiatives. The management team in this role, the board of directors focuses on issues related to overall objectives, strategic direction, and major policy and program initiatives, rather than issues related to the day-to-day management of the WSIB, because those are relegated to WSIB executive and case managers and all that. And this is an important section here. Section I, indemnification for board members and extended advisors or external advisors. The WSIB indemnifies the member of the board of directors or a former member to the extent permitted by law against any liability and all costs, charges, and expenses, including any amount paid to settle an action or satisfy a judgment that the board of directors member actually and reasonably sustains or incurs in respect of any action or proceeding, including a civil, criminal, or administrative action or proceeding that is proposed or commenced against them by reason of being or having been a member of the board of directors, as long as the WSIB is given prompt written notice of any such action or proceeding and an opportunity to participate in or defend the same if the WSIB so elects. Well, that means that they are subject to being sued in the Superior Court of Ontario, because all of these costs and actions and charges and expenses and all this stuff that you're talking about, civil or criminal or administrative, they're all relevant to a court action in the Superior Court of Ontario. And then the next section says, the indemnity does not apply in any claim, issue, or matter where, so again, when they state in any claim, issue, or matter, where the member of the board acted dishonestly or in bad faith, not considering the best interests of the WSIB, the board of directors members' conduct is considered to be willful misconduct or gross negligence, or in the case of a criminal or administrative action or proceeding that is enforced by a monetary penalty, the board of directors member did not have reasonable grounds for believing that the conduct was unlawful. You see, my friends, I would think that they may not have that level of immunity that they portray in their actions or lack thereof, and in what they do, the abuses caused to injured workers. So I just want to leave you with that thought, friends. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. We have a lot of things in the background here with our the appeal, the class action that we're in the process of putting together for individuals who were experienced losses as a result of the WSIB's deeming practices with respect to their future economic loss benefits or partial loss of earnings benefits. I encourage you to visit WSIBsettlements.com to find out more about that if you're affected by that. And of course, we're looking at other situations, because you know what? The time to stop the bullshit is now. And we want to be a part of change. And we want you to be a part of change. So friends, as always, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's free. Nobody's going to be looking for money. All you got to do is click that subscribe button and you're subscribed. You get notifications every time I come out with a new video. Please share my videos with others. There's a lot of people in this province who need help. They're not sure where to get it. They may not have a support system. And by sharing, you may be helping somebody else. I've got tons of content to share. Over 30 years of experience dealing with these people, both as an injured worker and on a professional level, having built the largest paralegal firm in Ontario with over 10,000 clients and $300 million in settlements. I want to be able to help everyone. I want to touch every single injured worker in this province, past and present, to help me do that. I appreciate it. Have an amazing start to the week, my friends. And as always, thank you for taking the time. Take care, friends.